The lesson that Harry left us was the inscription that's on the front of the Gazette building. Sure. And that is, service is the rent we pay for the space we occupy in this world. Yes. And that is the way he chose to live his life, in a way he kind of gave us the idea to live our life. When Harry started the Gazette, he was still a very young man. I think he's only about 21 years old.
The competition called him the boy editor to belittle him a little bit, because he'd made a point of being pretty young, and I think he was trying to say, maybe it's time for a new game in town, and I'm the guy that can do it.
He was always an innovator, always thinking of ideas. Among that, he was the first newspaper in the United States to regularly deliver newspapers by air. And he had an airplane, and they had little bullseyes in all the area communities, and the plane would fly over and drop the paper on that bullseye.
Drop the paper on the bullseye. Yeah. And was it called the Newsboy?
It's now, it's a part of our masthead of the newspaper. It's still important to this day. I tell you, the turning point in his life, all through his life, Harry was setting the stage, but the turning point in not only Harry's life, but in the life of the Republican Valley, was the flood that took place in 1935.
Sure.
But what was important about that was the action that inspired, yes, led by Harry Strunk.
And I think what he left was the sense that here we are, we suffer through years of drought, then we get the rain and we have flood. Now there's something wrong with that cycle of drought to flood to drought to flood. Can't we do something to harness all this, to have more power for irrigation and more energy? And then a lot of people probably thought that. Mm-hmm. But he's the one who said, can't we do something, and then went out and did it. He got things done.
Passion and perseverance.
That's right.
He did not give up.
No.
He kept going, mm-hmm, and in the process accomplished more flood control, irrigation projects than any other similar area.
That's right.
And I think also important to bring up is the lack of what we now call political correctness. They did not care so much about whether you're a liberal or a conservative or a Democrat or a Republican. By gosh, they had a problem. Yeah. Let's solve that problem.
Exactly. If it had just been Harry and a community that felt differently, it wouldn't have worked. But his leadership was possible because the community also felt that way. Let's solve our problem. Let's do this. We can do this. It was a can-do. We can put our heads together and figure this out. And that's the way I think people out here were raised too. You owe something to the.
Right.
You don't just make yourself. You're made by your community, and you owe something to the community. And that's how he lived. It's like that story we were talking about earlier about he wanted that celebration of Red Willow on the 4th of July and all the arguments that was a family holiday, and he leaves the room saying, you have it any time you want. I don't care when it is, as long as it's on the 4th of July.
That's true.
And that's when it was.
True.